2025 felt like another one of those transitional years, you feel me? Is it just me, or did this year have a ton of highs and lows? The most volatile and erratic roller coaster ride we've seen in a while. Dramatic inconsistency would be my description for it if I had to make one. It's hard not to disassociate if we look at all the biggest trends and stories. So much dumb shit, man. It's actually immeasurable how much dumb shit we saw interwoven with controversy and confusion. At least from the standpoint of art and media, it was by many accounts an incredible year from the standpoint of volume. It makes sense though, the more chaos we see, the more people are going to react to it. The more tumultuous the world gets, the more people will long to escape to another. It seemed that quality work was dropping just about every other week, and that's probably why this year felt like such a whirlwind at times. As soon as I would slow down to check one thing out and appreciate it, I would just miss like 100 other new things. The worst part is, the pace at which the next big deal was upon us only appeared to get faster the deeper we got into the year. This is by far the biggest pool of albums I've ever had to sample for a year-end list. I'm trying not to think about it because I'm already dealing with the guilt of not watching like 1,000 good movie releases that passed me by. Maybe I put too much on my plate this year, I don't know, but lucky for you, that's just how I like it. No breaks, baby. That's all I know. Kicking off our honorable mentions this year is Billy Woods with Yeah. It's like a rap album and an old horror movie got somehow bonded together in the teleporter from The Fly. Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist also are back with Alfredo 2. More good stuff here. Some may even say it's better than Alfredo 1. For me, maybe not so much, but some people. Here's another good rapper-producer collaboration, Rap Ferreira and Kenny Siegel on the Night Green side of it. Good to hear these two back at it as well. Let me just get the other rap ones out of the way. Bam, pow, bam. Mike, Showbiz, Danny Brown, Stardust, and Navy Blue, The Sword and the Soaring. Okay, on to some other genres. Turnstile returned with their new album Never Enough, and it's kind of just more of the kick-ass content we've come to know. I will say that sometimes it just makes me want to listen to Glow On from 2021. I don't know if it quite reaches those highs, but still a solid LP. Similarly, Spelling dropped Portrait of My Heart. Again, same story. Makes me want to listen to The Turning Wheel a lot. Maybe I'm just nostalgic for 2021. I don't know why I would be. Terrible fucking year. But this is a different enough time to be its own thing. More rock-oriented for sure on this go-around, with some sick guitar work. Lastly, I can't forget perhaps the most calming, sensual, relaxed listen I've had all year. Essex Honey by Blood Orange instantly goes in the music I can listen to even when I have a headache category, which is rare. So trance-like and soothing, it just whisks you away. Some of my favorite songs of the year are on this thing. One last important measure. Sit down here for a second, champ. I gotta come clean about something. I'm sorry. I feel like I gotta have this talk with you every year. And if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I don't really get the hype around Geese. Specifically this latest one, Getting Killed. I tried to listen to it a lot. Don't get me wrong, that Cobra song might be one of the best singles I've heard all year, and I also don't mind that one, Taxes. The rest of it though, I don't know, I just don't hear the genius that others claim is present. It was very average. You know what, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. We'll put this on the maybe someday category, alright? I was very torn on even talking about this, but I feel like I owe it to all my Geese fans out there. Alright, on with the list now. For our starter, at number 15, I'm gonna pick Magic Alive by McKinley Dixon. Big band, jazz rap that's as lush sounding as it is poetic and passionate. I've seen many say this is an upgrade over beloved Paradise Jazz, but I disagree. If anything, I think it's just as good. It almost even feels like a part 2 or a continuation, at least from a musical standpoint. It may seem this way to me because one thing I like about McKinley's music is how consistent he is. There really aren't too many weak points when he drops a track list. Everything is just on the same level of quality and density, and lyrically he's always packing punches. But also when he picks a concept for an album, he sticks with it. The narrative of this record is kept up thematically for almost the entire runtime. You can hear a focus on topics like legacy, reconnection, healing, transcending burdens. There's heart all over it. This should hopefully breathe some energy into you, I'm sure of it. Something you'll see is the whole point, both lyrically and metaphorically. I don't want to spoil anything. Number 14 is Revenge Seekers, Jane Remover. This album is batshit, just total utter chaos in pretty much every song. I don't know what I expected. I've been listening to Jane Remover for a while now, and I'm not sure why I didn't anticipate being completely waterboarded by noise and screaming. Loud. There's this fucking Palkia sample that haunts this album. Like the Palkia cry. It was in my dreams the night I first listened to this. I will say, I would appreciate more variety. One of my favorite Jane songs is Goldfish from Frailty. It's an opener, but it's nice to not get berated for an hour because I do think they bring an exemplary vibe to any song they're on. Like, out of all the albums on this list, this one will probably exhaust you the most if you try to listen to it in one sitting. Much like eating the whole pie, it's good, fantastic even, but you pay the price later. Still, getting a slice here and there is one of the best experiences you'll have all year. There's my pie metaphor. Number 13, Jid. God does like ugly. Expectations are starting to get high on this poor dude, but I don't get why anyone would bash on this. It's hard to live up to the monumental Forever story, but this does not feel like Jid is falling back or missing a beat, really. Speaking of which, these beats don't miss. You're gonna get all sorts of flavors right out of the gate. The opening track, for instance, is an adventure, narrated by West Side Gun nonetheless. It's gotta be one of my favorites all year. Also, the harder shit sits wonderfully with the more soulful shit. I'm always wondering how the word beautiful can be applied to a trap album so surely, but Jid continues to do it. Once again, we have a brightly shining, conscious hip-hop effort from a guy that keeps dropping very pristine, polished projects. My pick for number 12 is one that just feels right. Live, Laugh, Love by Earl Sweatshirt. As many have said, this completes a very, very wholesome arc for our character. 10 years ago, we got I Don't Like Shit, I Don't Go Outside, which was a murky, anxious, uncertain look into a very fractured Earl Sweatshirt. Fast forward to now, with all the emotional damage control in between, we get a triumphant, cozy, confident Earl who is both a whimsical father figure and an experienced orator. The abstract and hazy production is still here, but there's also a tone of a Sunday barbecue, just being a few feet away. Like, look at this music video. The vibes, so nice. Don't get me wrong, lyrically it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but he's still getting stuff off his mind. But there's a reassurance there that he can do it this time, you know? Very wholesome, very satisfying, and bittersweet. This both feels like the happy ending to a long, arduous journey, and the beginning of a new tale. Alright, let's go to number 11, and oh my god, it's another dance album. Everybody's doing dance albums now. Sudan Archives, the BPM, is indeed another dance album, but it's not just another dance album. This is a midnight rave from some sci-fi city or something. Maybe Blade Runner or The Matrix. I don't know. It's your world. You feel it. The music is both fun and mysterious. Sudan's experience with string instruments, hip-hop, and R&B creates a very distinct sound that feels realized as well as fresh. This will have you moving around more than any of her previous releases. There are huge doses of house and UK bass fused almost effortlessly with some slick pop vocals. I just put together the best club rocking cuts I could find for my wedding, and looking back, I'm sad I didn't put any of these on the playlist. This album makes me want to throw a party with a million fog machines and strobe lights, maybe some giant subs, just as soon as possible. Take this up if you'd like to visit a bouncy, futuristic club that's run by evil violinists. Epic display of artistry, as usual, from an exciting and up-and-coming voice. Number 10, Nina Geraci with I Love My Computer. This sounds like the best parts of Brat from Charlie XCX, and yeah, that would make it number 1, but there's also some filler that's less interesting, so that's why it's here. I don't want to undersell this though, because the highs right here are incredible. It's like falling down an elevator shaft made of various gemstones, such as jewels. This sounds like if Rainbow Road got a Trojan virus or some malware and started freaking out all over the place. Also, side note, this is very likely my album cover of the year. There's just so much going on. Something about this taps into my inner child. I'm not sure what, but it's very likely just the noisy, fun, party overtone that this whole record contains. Nina Geraci seems to be a student of the A.G. Cook Bubblegum Bass Academy, and fuck yeah, I'll take that. It rocks. It's also surprisingly catchy. I had this bumping around in my head on several occasions this year. So yeah, check it out. This is her debut album, if you can believe it or not. I, for one, am now super excited to see what's next. At number 9, we have Only Dust Remains from Backwash. Is this Eminem's recovery for terminally online people? Oh my god, that's probably so blasphemous to say, I'm sorry. This is almost a complete change of pace from previous Backwash projects. This is much more focused on finding the light and escaping bleakness than it is living in it. I mean, it can still be aggressive, but more in like an uplifting and motivational sense. I think we all have had that moment where we're just fed up with wallowing in our struggle. You know, you just get pissed at yourself, and somehow you find the courage to make the decision to finally get better. You can't just get better, you have to actively, consciously choose to get better. And most of that time, it's both freeing and angering and a whole bunch of emotions that this LP really conveys well. It sounds like the expulsion of evil spirits and healing, but not in an ugly way. Much of this record is gorgeous and tender and thought-provoking. I don't want to say it's more accessible, but yeah, it's more accessible. Also, am I crazy, or is this sometimes Brockhampton-esque? One of my favorite songs from here, Disassociation, seems like it'd come right from that second half of Saturation 2. Let me know. Anyways, I needed this album a few years ago, but I'll take it now too, I guess. I'm excited to see what direction we hear from Backwash in the future, because I already want more of what we have with this. This is easily my favorite sound that she's gone for. Moving on to number 8, it's gonna be Lotus by Little Sims. She's back. The Queen is back. Hallelujah. This is music that just feels important. It's got such gravity to it, but it's also a sweeter, softer, maybe more vulnerable batch of tracks than we've seen from her in the past. It's got its very groovy and invigorating tracks as well, but I can't get over the way Sims glides over some of these smooth instrumentals and big-time rhythmic jazz sessions. Usually I don't prefer when rappers work with a live band for their concerts, but she seems like she could pull it off. I gotta go to a Little Sims show soon. See if my theory is true or not. I guess a falling out as well as some legal troubles with her previous producer led her to changing some names around on the production team, but quite honestly, if I didn't know that, I wouldn't have guessed. Proof that the artist and their tastes will guide the way, if it's right. More good stuff from this UK legend. I hope she keeps it up. I'm thinking for number 7 we do Panda Bear. Sinister Grift. I have never really listened to Animal Collective. Apparently, this is a guy from Animal Collective. I don't know. Everybody kept saying this was good, and you know I'm a sucker for hypnagogic pop, so that was enough for me. It's got an ambient pop, indie surf coloring to it that has you scratching your head when you look at the release date. It's just one of those LPs that sounds like it belongs in a different time period, which I think is hard to pull off. There were even moments from this that reminded me of Cindy Lee. It got to the point I was getting suspicious, and bam, look at that right there, Cindy Lee. If you're into the Beach Boys or Brian Wilson and want to escape back to their prime in the 60s, this is for you. If you want to feel like you're driving into the sunset at the end of an early 2000s movie, this is definitely for you. A supreme vibe. I can see this being something I come back to all the time in the future. Let's see what the number 6 spot holds. It's Viagra Boys by Viagra Boys, or maybe self-titled. Their first album since Cave World, and this had big shoes to fill because that was one of the best records to come out in 2022. I think many people have written this off as an impossible and fruitless attempt to follow up the brilliance of its predecessor, but I actually think it's just as interesting and almost as cohesive. Sure, there's not like a big concept here, and on the surface, this seems like just a silly and ridiculous set of tunes, but there's quite a bit going on thematically if you look a tad further. It's got the same nihilistic and existentialist outlook we've come to expect in the lyrics from Sebastian Murphy, but on this one, there are themes of mortality and health and aging and self-destruction and overindulgence. Somehow taking up this scummy, slimy, crazy, wild persona brings a lot of good observations, both about oneself and probably society too. I would say this is better than Welfare Jazz. It's gotta be my second favorite Viagra Boys album. How about for number 5, we go with Don't Tap the Glass by Tyler, the Creator. You know, it's been a minute since Tyler has had an opportunity to create an album that's strictly concerned with bangers. I know the inclination to make a dance album is maybe the trendiest of trends right now, but I mean, come on. It's Tyler, the Creator, with no pressure to make some big emotional opus, and that's kind of what makes this work. We can go from idea to idea to idea here, and at only 29 minutes, it's great to hear something that just cares about having a great time from start to finish. I love the freedom that you can hear from Tyler on this project. It's very easy to resonate with and translates super well to the music. Number 4 will have to be Dijon with Baby. My king has returned. It's been 4 years since his debut album, Absolutely, which was an unequivocal favorite of mine in 2021. We keep going back to 2021 this year. I don't know. Am I getting gaslit into thinking this was a good year? It was for music, all right? The hiatus that Dijon went on wasn't for no good reason. That feels like a double negative. Wasn't for no good reason. It was for good reason. Bang. Because the guy became a father, hence the title of this project. It's very reflective and self-actualizing and sentimental, but also chaotic and messy and aggressive. That's how I imagine parenthood is. That rough around the edges aesthetic that Dijon pioneered so well on Absolutely is once again present here, but maybe even glitchier and electric. Like somehow these files of very nice, tender songs got corrupted. It almost sounds like a collection of demos, but I don't mean that in a bad way, because having this much raw energy bottled up and cleanly laid out would be kind of doing music like this a disservice. I love Dijon's ability to just bare his soul in his singing. I'm not gonna lie, it took me a second to warm up to this when it first came out, and while I don't know if it's my favorite release of his, I still think it's one of the best LPs to come out of 2025. This dude is a taste shaper and a trendsetter, so it's only right that he keeps pushing boundaries. I can't get mad at him for that. I don't want him to make the same thing over and over and over again, and I think people understand that. I think his real fans understand that. So anyway, hopefully we do not have to wait as long next time. JVB at number 3. That's right, it's Hyper Youth by Joey Valence and Bray. Another step in the evolution of one of the more exciting rap duos to come out recently. This time around, they are seemingly trying to bring fun back to club music. They have taken the hardcore hip-hop scene by storm with a one-of-a-kind, dancey, humorous, high-energy approach. I was totally hooked on their album No Hands last year, so this was an exciting drop, especially with them teasing a bigger focus on creating even crazier anthemic bops than ever before, but also maybe focusing on their songwriting. While I do appreciate this step towards a more mature lyrical theming and overall sound, some of it does not land on these songs as well as it should have, and maybe that's the only thing holding this back from being any higher on this list. Some of the lyrics are stupid, more in a groan-worthy sense than a funny one. The messaging about growing up, nostalgia, and excitement through youth is definitely pertinent though, It is impossible not to move to these songs, which actually sound like fucking songs. They have done one hell of a job at making the songiest songs. I don't know if that makes sense. But speaking of which, every era of rap seems to have this rapper slash producer top prospect who does both of those aspects extremely well. Like, they're just as good at making beats as they are at hopping on them. Everyone sees their talent clearly, you know, like it was Kanye for a while, then it was Tyler, and then for a minute I thought it might be JPEG Mafia. It might be time to put Joey Valance in that conversation. I don't know, I might be jumping the gun, but that'll be something for you to chew on for a while, and then you can get back to me. We'll see how that take plays out when I do my decade recap. Super unexpected, but this album just kept getting plays by me this year. Number 2 is Sable Fable from Bon Iver. Their first studio album in 6 years, and one that I, for whatever reason, really resonate with. It feels like pieces falling into place, which might be kind of just what happened to me in 2025. The first disc on this album, for those that don't know, it's actually an EP they dropped last year, and while it has grown on me some, I wasn't completely wowed by what I heard. Disc 2, on the other hand, dog, magical stuff. Totally a change of pace, and totally a touching journey. It so naturally feels like a nice walk through some bright woods in the Midwest, or entering a flow state after you've hiked all the way up a hill and reached the top. Very therapeutic, but also relaxing and healing. It strikes that perfect balance of just up-tempo enough to not put you to sleep, but also just warm enough to really calm your anxiety and nerves. There are no shortage of fantastic collaborators involved in this project. Casey Hill, Danielle Haim, even John Wilson did a music video for one of the songs. Also, I found it kind of funny that Bon Iver, aka the guy everybody wanted to work with for a while, employs Dijon and McGee for a couple tracks. You know, like the guys everybody currently wants to work with being compared to today's Bon Iver. Anyways, yeah, my wife pointed that out. I just wanted to bring that up. Yeah, Sable Fable, underrated on many lists this year. People have it on there, but to me it's too low. Number 1. Usually, guys, I've got some deeply impactful, extremely affecting record up here. But this year, I gotta just give it to the best album I heard. Let God Sort 'Em Out by Clips. Just 2 absolute fucking professionals at what they do, showing everybody that despite aging, they're still better than you. Pharrell Williams is producing like a heavyweight champ here. These are 100% the best beats I've heard him curate, and I love that story of them making this whole album at the Louis Vuitton headquarters and walking around making sure the employees were bumping their heads, and if they weren't, they'd go back and redo it. I don't want to suggest this LP is just bangers or lack of substance. In fact, they know a thing or two about substances, am I right? Nah, in all seriousness, we have some extremely poignant introspective meditations by Pusha and Malice, especially towards the beginning and the end. This is as much a project about family as it is standing tall above your enemies and dunking on them. These brothers are ruthless on almost every song here. It's just vicious song crafting. Malice specifically feels like he's only gotten to be more menacing than he already was, and Pusha is once again talking as much shit as humanly possible. It's incredible. The bars are classic. Yellow diamonds look like pee-pee. A fitting description for 2025, if I gotta say so myself. You get the diamonds, very symbolic of luxury and niceness. The pee-pee, perhaps to show the unpleasant reminders inside of otherwise pretty and enjoyable things. Alright guys, I'm just kidding, come on, seriously though. There are timeless classics all over this thing. If you consider yourself a fan of rap or hip-hop, this is 100% mandatory listening. I also wouldn't put it at number 1 if I didn't think even non-enjoyers of the genre would not still appreciate this. That's all I gotta say. $25 videos. 2025, and I made 25 videos. Some pretty substantial ones, too. And now, we're starting the counter back at 1. Like I said, I think I put too much on my plate in 2025, but I wouldn't have it any other way because I'm honored to say it was the first year I truly gave having a consistent YouTube channel a shot. And my audience, however big or small you are right now, everyone watching this, thank you, sincerely. I know the year's already over, but this is officially my year-end thank you for supporting me over this time. I'm so sorry about the delay on this list too. Ideally, I would have had it out during the first week of January or the last week of December with everyone else's list, but I wanted to make sure I got this right because while they don't do very well from the standpoint of viewership, these yearly recaps, man, they mean a lot to me. I have come so far since I first started writing these lists up for the blog in 2020. Now that they're here on YouTube, I couldn't be happier. To go from lost college kid to a completely new guy speaking with you right now, dude, it's awesome. So much of this year, at least for me, was like a road trip where I just had my foot on the gas the entire time to get to my destination faster. I think a lot of people I've talked to felt that way about it too. It didn't help that I knew my wedding would be at the end of the year, so everything felt like it was building up to that moment, you know? Everything I did seemed like it was in service of that grand finale. We did go on a honeymoon at the end of November and the beginning of December. I filmed a lot of it, and I'll drop that vlog that I made soon, so you guys can experience a piece of that with me. I'm gonna try, like I always do in these, to take this moment to appreciate my hard work. Marrying your partner of 9 years is a landmark moment. It's something I could only dream about. Some people are not as lucky as me, and I want to live every day like that. All the ups and downs I've mentioned, all that I haven't, the fact that we're here together, beautiful, to say the least. I don't want to get corny, but it's just beautiful. I hope you've enjoyed this ride with me so far. I'm ready to keep checking in here all the time. So, I'll see you in the next one.